हेलो एवरीवन एंड वेलकम टू स्लीपी क्लासेस। ये जो है अब हम एक नया एंडेवर शुरू करने वाले हैं। हमारा जो है आंसर राइटिंग, जैसे कि आपको पता है, रेगुलरली चलता रहता है। जीएस का हम लेके आते हैं आपके सामने डेली आंसर राइटिंग, राइट, जो कि आपको पता है थर्सडे तक चलता था। नाउ व्हाट इज गोइंग टू हैपन इज कि आपका मंडे टू फ्राइडे आंसर राइटिंग होगा, राइट। ट्यूसडेज को एवरी ट्यूसडे जो है ऑप्शनल की आंसर राइटिंग होगी, राइट। ऑप्शनल की आंसर राइटिंग होगी जहां पे पीएसआईआर ऑप्शनल के लिए एक क्वेश्चन जो है ऑन एवरी ट्यूसडे विद रिगार्ड टू किस तरह से आपने अप्रोच करना है, राइट। व्हाट शुड बी द अप्रोच टू दिस क्वेश्चन, व्हाट शुड बी द एडिक्वेट स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ द क्वेश्चन, right, the structuring of the answer, and then what kind of content should be put in the question that will be explained, right. So from next week onwards, just like GS, every Tuesday will be a live class. So if you have any queries with regard to optional answer writing, with regard to how to approach a question for the optional, with regard to how the structuring or the content of an optional answer is to be different from a GS answer, that is everything that we'll be trying to inculcate in this answer writing series. Okay, so this will be our main aim, that now along with GS answer writing, you are also able to figure out how to write answers for optional, because aakhirkar optionals end up being the key to enabling you to crack the exam, right. Similarly, PSI has been one of those top scoring optionals. A lot of toppers, a lot of examination high mark scorers have come from the PSIR optional, right. So you know that there is this huge competition in this optional which is going on, and at the end of the day you might read a lot of books, you might have the best kind of notes, but till the time you can't transform what you have studied into well written answers, till then you will not be able to get score, like a good score, to be able to score very good marks in your PSIR optional, right. So you also have to reorient yourself, learn how to understand that when I'm writing a general studies exam, when I'm writing a general studies answer, this is the kind of method that I should be following, and then when I have to write an optional answer, I need to keep in mind all these things before I take on the task of writing an optional का answer. ठीक है, so this is a practice that we will be starting. So Monday, Wednesday, Thursday and Friday, every day will be your GS answer writing. Tuesday will be your PSIR answer writing, and hopefully soon on Saturday we will also be starting anthropology ki answer writing, right, soon, right, possibly not next week, but maybe next month onwards we might start that as well, right. So now without much further ado, let's look at the question that we have today, right. Again, now this is a question which is extremely relevant, especially given the present circumstances, and this is a question जो कि बहुत अच्छे से बाइंड करता है what we call is a conceptual part, right, basically a political theory part, which is paper 1 part A of the paper, and then with regard to India and contemporary issues and circumstances of India, which can also be a part of what is your IGP, which is paper 1 part B. Now as you look at questions and as you look at optionals, हम देखते हैं every year, right, year by year the level of questions in the optional is just increasing. Now you don't have only conceptual questions or only current affairs related questions, you have the merger of the two. How are you able to interlink these concepts? This is what is able to put across whether you have studied the optional well or not. And PSIR एक ऐसा optional है जहाँ पे you have to learn how to interlink static concepts with dynamic current affairs if you really want to score top-notch marks in your optional. Right, now let's look at the question today. The question says, what is a soft state? This is the out and out conceptual part. Simple. very static, very political theory oriented. This is the part that most of the people will be comfortable with. हमको पता है soft state क्या है, we know who gave the theory of soft state, we know what are the characteristics of soft state, right? So this part is relatively easy. The complicated part comes in the second question, right, which is where often a lot of students end up creating a problem for themselves. The second part reads, is it correct to regard India as a soft state? So you will see in this question, which is comprised of two parts. The first part is static, theory oriented, and a more discussion type of question, right? What is a soft state? Discuss type question hai, right? That you just have to elaborate what do you mean by a soft state, what are the characteristics of a soft state, what kind of scholars can you associate with soft state. The second part of the question, which says, is it correct to regard India as a soft state? This is a more comment-based question, wherein now the examiner is asking for your point of view and to back that point of view with certain current affairs, with certain views of scholars, with certain things that have been happening around you, right? So now this amalgamation of a discussion-based part and a comment-based part means that the question gets slightly more complex, and you need to address both the parts of the question if you want to score good marks. Now let's first look at किस तरह का structure होना चाहिए. What should be the structure of this answer, right? Now first, as I said, you have to look at the keywords, you have to look at the part of the answer. Now let's look at the first part of the question. The first part of question is what is soft state? That is, our introduction therefore should comprise of what is soft state, which scholar talks about soft state, right? How is it different from, say, other kinds of states, empirical or hard states, right? How is it different from those states? And then what are certain features of a soft state, right? Now this question is somewhere around 15 marks. That means you should be aiming to finish your answer, try to finish your answer in, say, 250 to 300 words max, right? In the allotted time, say, of around 10 to 12 minutes ke andar, you should be able to wrap this answer. 10 markers ke liye aim an 8 minute ki time limit. Now when I'm saying in the introduction part, you are supposed to cover a lot of instances, a lot of these issues. That is one of your couple of paragraphs. So now your introductory paragraph, जो पहला paragraph होगा, that should mainly be based on what is soft state and which is the scholar we associate with the study of soft state, right? Then the next couple of paras can be associated with the difference between soft state and other states and what are particularly the features of the soft state. ठीक है, इसके बाद से the main body needs to be dedicated to the second part of the question, which is आप इंडिया को किस तरह place करोगे. Now the first part when you look at is that yes, India is a soft state, जिसके ऊपर a lot of theoretical work is available, right? So you start first, you look at this argument that yes, India fulfills the characteristics of being a soft state and that is why it may be regarded as the soft state. The next part जो कि आपकी conclusion की तरफ आएगा, right? So as you move towards the conclusion, you have to look at the other side of the picture also, which is no, India is no longer a soft state, but in fact is moving towards becoming or developing into a developmental state, right? So that is the part, that is where you should be moving towards your concluding part of the answer, and yahan pe you should be getting a more example led approach, that what are certain examples जिसके through आप prove कर सकते हैं that no, India has stopped being a soft state and in fact अब एक developmental state बनता जा रहा है. ठीक है, so ये जो है broadly आपका एक structure होना चाहिए of the answer. Right, now let's look at the model answer. The answer that we are proposing is what you should be writing, or the kind of answer that you should be trying to emulate. Now let's look at the introductory para, जहाँ पे again हमने जो पहली कुछ चीजें थी उनको address किया है. पहली चीज कि ये जो soft state का idea है ये निकल के कहाँ से आया. that this soft state idea was presented in 1968, that is जब आपकी wave of third wave of decolonization, एक massive decolonization की wave आई थी, right, when a lot of your Asian and African countries were liberated, right, उस दौरान जो है with the coming up of these new states, Gunnar Myrdal in his work, in his book, in his epic book, the most important book called Asian Drama, an Inquiry into the Poverty of Nations, first proposed this term of a soft state. Right? Now, to understand what soft state is, we have to first differentiate it from, say, empirical or hard state. Now, Gunnar Myrdal, in his work, what he does is, he classifies the states into certain categories. He says states can be either empirical states, और जिनको हम hard states भी बुला सकते हैं, or they can be juridical state, which can also be called as soft states. Right? Now the empirical states, ये किस तरह के states हैं जिनको हम hard states या empirical states बोल रहे हैं? We say these are mostly the states that are determined by a classical state system. Right? Basically ये ऐसे states हैं जिनकी डेवलपमेंट इनटू अ नेशन स्टेट, अ सॉवरेन नेशन स्टेट धीरे धीरे खुद ब खुद हुई है, राइट? तो पहले दे यूज्ड टू बी स्मॉलर किंगडम्स, देन दे डेवलप्ड इनटू बिगर principalities, then they became, you know, an empire, then empires broke up, which led to the formation of new sovereign nation states. And because of this reason, these states also have very well developed systems of government, institutions of government. So well functioning courts, well functioning police, well functioning armed forces who know and who can assert their rule over the people also in a very composed and in a very proper manner. इसका मतलब क्या है? That if the courts or if the police or if the armed forces ask people to do something, chances are that people will end up doing the same. तो एक तरह से जो उनकी obedience है from the people towards these government institutions, that is very well established. So a lot of these empirical states are those that we see in Western Europe, right? UK हो गया, France हो गया, Scandinavian countries हो गई. Then you have states, the countries in North America. Even though these North American countries had colonial rule, but इनको हम तभी भी post colonial countries नहीं बोलते हैं. Why? Because यहाँ पे जो indigenous races थी वो तो बेचारी बची नहीं. Basically colonial country से ही जो लोग आए थे उन्होंने ही अपनी colonial country के against जो है एक मोर्चा उठाया, struggled against them, kicked them out and established their own self-governing governments. So countries like USA, countries like Canada, and साथ ही में Middle Eastern countries, right? Certain countries like say UAE or Saudi Arabia. So even though they aren't westernized countries, but they are still seen as fulfilling the conditions of what we call as empirical states or hard states, जहाँ पे जो institutions है इतनी well entrenched है that people listen to these institutions. Now on the other hand, on the flip side to empirical states, we have the second classification which Gunnar Myrdal gives, which is of what? Which is of juridical state, या जिसको हम बुलाते हैं soft state. Now, unlike empirical states, जहाँ पे हम कहते हैं एक organic development देखी गई हमने, right? Starting from say kingdoms to empires to then sovereign nation states, यहाँ पे जो है एक organic development नहीं थी, but the nation states came into being as a result of the sudden national struggles or national movements or freedom struggles against their former colonial masters. Now what had happened in these states, which I will tell you, right, जो कि आपको जानना होना चाहिए, and maybe a lot of you have also studied, जब colonial rule यहाँ पे आया, the traditional centers of power जो है, जो कि पहले exist करते थे, right? तो for example चाहे वो मुगल रूल हो गया या चाहे वो छोटे छोटे नवाब्स हो गए of those area, right? उन सब को जो है डिस्ट्रॉय कर दिया गया, एंड द कलोनियल मास्टर डिड नॉट लेट एनी अदर ऑल्टरनेटिव सेंटर ऑफ पावर डेवलप. व्हाई? बिकॉज द कलोनियल मास्टर वांटेड टू रूल द कंट्री. सो व्हाई विल द कलोनियल मास्टर वांट कि एक ऑल्टरनेटिव सेंटर ऑफ पावर डेवलप हो जाए? क्योंकि वो तो सेंटर ऑफ पावर अपने आप को ही बनाना चाहते हैं. तो कोई इंडिजिनियस सेंटर ऑफ पावर नहीं था, सिर्फ कलोनियल मास्टर्स थे. सो दैट इज व्हाई व्हाट हैपेंस इज दैट पोस्ट द फ्रीडम स्ट्रगल, वंस द कलोनियल गवर्नमेंट मूव्स आउट, you don't really have any other institution in place जो कि इतनी respect and obedience command करती हो from the entire population in the country and उनको बोल सके कि now you have to listen to me and आपको ये सुनना ही पड़ेगा. So because of this vacuum which was created by the colonial government, there are certain characteristics which we witness in the soft state जो कि गुनार मिर्दल list out करते हैं. What are these characteristics? सबसे पहले ये बोलते हैं that what had happened was national struggle या freedom struggle के अंदर क्या था? There was this continuous disobedience movement that was going on against the colonial government, right? चाहे वो disobedience violent या revolutionary movements के अंदर हो, right? So that we had revolutionary extremists like people like Bhagat Singh, etc. Or it can also be a non-violent, more moderate struggle also, right? For example, those which was led by moderates in the Congress, or even the revolutionary violent struggle which was led by Mahatma Gandhi, a more satyagraha led movement. In fact, one of the movements was also called civil disobedience movement, right? तो इस तरह का क्या, because the colonial government is not a legitimate government, it is not a government जो कि हमारे consent के ऊपर based है, that is why we will not obey this government. तो वो क्या कहते हैं that throughout this freedom struggle, जिस तरह की डिसओबीडियंस उनकी कॉलोनियल गवर्नमेंट जो कि नेशनल गवर्नमेंट को तब रिप्रेजेंट करती थी इज अगेंस्ट देम, उसी तरह की डिसओबीडियंस स्टिल कंटिन्यूज इवन अगेंस्ट द नेशनल गवर्नमेंट नाउ लेड इन इंडिपेंडेंट कंट्रीज बाय आवर ओन सिटीजंस बेस्ड ऑन इलेक्टोरल प्रैक्टिसेस जो कि हमने डिवाइस की है. तो अभी भी एक जो वो मिसट्रस्ट है एंड दैट टेंडेंसी टुवर्ड्स डिसोबीडियंस है, मिर्दाल कहते हैं इन सोसाइटी से अभी तक वो डिसिपेट नहीं की गई है. नाउ बिकॉज ऑफ दिस रीजन अनदर important feature of soft state that prevails is that there is prevalence of societal indiscipline. Now, because you are not ready to listen to the nationalist, centralist government of the day, what happens is that there is widespread societal indiscipline. And societal indiscipline can come from numerous arenas, right? तो ये जो है कुछ violent means, secessionist bodies जो है उनकी तरफ से आ सकता है, right? तो for example अगर हम नक्सल मूवमेंट की बात करें, ठीक है, ये इनफैक्ट आपके कुछ सोसाइटल ग्रुपिंग से भी आ सकता है, जैसे कि हम आगे देखेंगे, राइट? अगर हम इंडिया का ही कॉन्टेक्स्ट देख लें तो ऑफन टाइम्स इट कम्स इवन फ्रॉम कास्ट और रिलीजियस ग्रुपिंग्स हु आर नॉट रेडी टू abide by the rules of the country. So in terms of personal laws जो कि exist करते हैं, in terms of caste based norms जो कि exist करते हैं, right? These are also constantly competing with the laws that the government is making, and oftentimes those laws are being flouted for the sake of society and social groups who are not ready to obey them. Lastly and very importantly, in states में, in soft states में, there is also widespread corruption by its institutions, right? So जहाँ पे भी आप चले जाएं, हम देखते हैं bureaucracy में there's a large extent of corruption. पुलिस के अंदर there's a lot of corruption. Judiciary, especially lower levels of judiciary के अंदर we see a lot of corruption, right? And साथ ही साथ में because of this corruption, because of nepotism, because of these reasons, we see a failure of developmental policies, right? So even though on paper those policies seem very good, but in terms of implementation, in terms of application, there is a widespread failure. Right, now we move on to the second part of the question, that is कि ये characteristics और features जो हैं किस हद तक इंडिया पे applicable हैं, right? And now these जो views हैं, अगर we are taking a stand that yes they are applicable to India or no they are not applicable to India, we have to do this by a quoting scholars or giving examples, right? By referring to certain events which can prove कि जो हम बोल रहे हैं वो it's not out of thin air that we've concocted it up, but it is backed by concrete statements of scholars or concrete examples. And that is the mark of a good optional answer. अगर आप scholars को नहीं quote कर पा रहे हैं, अगर आप relevant contemporary examples नहीं दे पा रहे हैं, it is a very lackluster answer. आपको शायद average marks मिल जाए, but expect below average marks only for such an answer जो कि quote नहीं करता है scholars को या contemporary examples नहीं देता है. Now the second part of the question we start by quoting Shyam Saran, right? So Shyam Saran is someone who works in India's foreign policy part also, and he is someone who also writes a lot of editorials. So in one of his such editorials, he calls India as still being a soft state. एंड वो बोलते हैं कि अभी ये सॉफ्ट स्टेट क्यों है. He says it's not because कि हमारे पास instruments of power नहीं है. No, we actually have specialized government institutions working. So we have a very well entrenched judicial system. We have a long-standing, long-working steel frame of India in the form of a bureaucratic structure. But India should still be regarded as a soft state. Why? Because अभी भी इंडिया के अंदर जो उसकी गवर्नेंस है वो इफेक्टिवली कायम नहीं हो पाई है. इंडिया हैज स्टिल नॉट ट्रांसफॉर्म्ड इटसेल्फ इनटू एन इफेक्टिव एंड वेल गवर्न्ड स्टेट. एंड बिकॉज ऑफ दिस रीजन वी सी इंडिया के अंदर अभी भी सोशल सिक्योरिटी एंड इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर आर टू सच थिंग्स दैट आर मैसिवली लैकिंग. इनफैक्ट यहीं पे आप बहुत सारी एग्जाम्पल्स भी दे सकते हैं. वेरी इंपॉर्टेंटली बिकॉज देर इज दिस सिचुएशन ऑफ द COVID-19 पैंडेमिक ऑन गोइंग. इनफैक्ट गिवन द सिचुएशन a lot of your examples should come from these circumstances. So in fact you can quote that how because of the lack of social security, because of the lack of infrastructure, we have seen a failure in pandemic policies. How? Health structure is crumbling, right? Failure of health structure, then violence against doctors, right? How else can we see it? Deaths of migrants, right? Especially during the first wave when we saw that there was no effective mechanism to take them from the places that they were working back to their villages, or even the fact कि अगर वो अपनी जहाँ पे वो काम करते हैं they were stuck there to make provisions of living and food available to them, right? तो because of this issue there were a lot of problems. तो इस तरह से हम COVID-19 के पैंडेमिक के एग्जाम्पल्स के थ्रू श्याम सरन की स्टेटमेंट जो है उसको हम बैक कर सकते हैं. सिमिलरली देन वी कैन कोट अनदर वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट स्कॉलर दैट इज अतुल कोहली, जिनका काम जो है इज वन ऑफ द मोस्ट सेमिनल वर्क्स ऑफन कोटेड इन द इंडियन गवर्नमेंट एंड पॉलिटिक्स पार्ट. तो यहाँ पे हम अतुल कोहली के काम से ही इंस्पायर होकर बात करते हैं कि किस तरह से अभी भी इंडियन स्टेट के अंदर सोसाइटल प्रेशर्स कंटिन्यू टू प्ले एन इंपॉर्टेंट रोल, कंटिन्यू टू ओवरवेल्म द स्टेट विद देयर डिमांड्स, बिकॉज ऑफ विच देयर इज ऑफन अ क्राइसिस ऑफ गवर्नेबिलिटी. इनफैक्ट इस तरह के एग्जाम्पल्स जो हैं पहले से भी पेश किए जा सकते हैं. इनफैक्ट वन ऑफ द examples can actually be the prevalence of personal laws which continue to often agitate the state and create problems for the state. Similarly, हम इसी तरह के societal pressures even during COVID-19 pandemic हमने witness किए, जहाँ पे huge religious events, जहाँ पे huge social events were still being conducted even when the country was being gripped पहले by the first wave and then by the second wave. So these religious events एक तरह से इनको बंद नहीं किया गया था, इनको जो है हटा नहीं दिया गया था, because again due to the societal pressure जो कि exert करता है and अपनी demands place करता है on the state, right? तो इस तरह से again ये क्या cause कर देता है? A massive crisis of governability that कोहली says ये cause कर देता है. Furthermore, हम और examples दे सकते हैं that despite rule of law and judiciary backing these, कि अभी भी अगर हम देखते हैं with even after the reading down of the section 377 जो कि अब legitimize कर देता है consensual homosexuality को, उसके बाद भी we still have many issues prevailing, right? तो यहाँ पे हम एग्जाम्पल दे सकते हैं कि किस तरह से तमिलनाडु in fact became one of the first states to ban जिसको हम कहते हैं conversion therapy. The fact कि if someone is belonging to the LGBTQIA plus community, आप उनको conversion therapy के through heterosexual बना सकते हो, right? तमिलनाडु happened to be the one of the first states in 2021 to ban it. उनके हाई कोर्ट ने जो है मद्रास हाई कोर्ट ने कहा कि this is absolutely incorrect, this is not something that should be carried forward. However, in a lot of other states, in a lot of other parts of India, this still carries on. Similarly, the entire खाप पंचायत को आप कोट कर सकते हैं कि जहाँ पे there are proper norms and laws जो कि हमारे लेजिस्लेचर द्वारा बनाए गए हैं थ्रू से स्पेशल मैरिज एक्ट एक्सेट्रा, जो कि इंटर रिलीजियस एंड इंटर कास्ट मैरिजेस को किसी भी तरह से बैन नहीं करते हैं, उनके अगेंस्ट एक ऑपोजिशन आती है फ्रॉम इनफैक्ट सोसाइटल ग्रुपिंग्स, जैसे कि हम खाप पंचायत के अंदर विटनेस करते हैं, वेर इन अ लॉट ऑफ कपल्स हैव टू फेस द राथ ऑफ सच खाप पंचायत एंड ऑफन डेथ ऑल्सो. वाई? बिकॉज जो आपका लॉ है मेड बाय द गवर्नमेंट स्टिल डज नॉट एंजॉय एट टाइम्स पॉपुलर क्रेडिबिलिटी एंड लेजिटिमेसी as against those made by social norms. Right now, अब ये क्या थी, ये yes India is a soft state को बैक करती हुई स्टेटमेंट थी. However, then we move to the other side of the argument that no, there are changes that we are witnessing in India, and India may have been a soft state, but it is quickly transforming itself into a more developmental state rather than a सॉफ्ट स्टेट. ठीक है, तो यहाँ पे भी कोट अ स्कॉलर लाइक लेफ्टविच, जो कि पॉइंट आउट करते हैं कि पहले जो कि सॉफ्ट स्टेट्स होते थे, दे आर वेरी क्विकली बिकमिंग डेवलपमेंटल स्टेट्स, जिनकी पॉलिटिक्स जो है वो क्या कर रही है, द सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट हैज रियलाइज्ड दैट वी नीड टू टेक चार्ज, वी नीड टू टेक कंट्रोल, एंड बिकॉज ऑफ दिस रीजन द कैपेसिटी ऑफ द सेंटर to shape developmental goals, to shape policies has increased much more. So in fact you can quote examples of चाइना ने किस तरह से ये किया था टू अ ग्रेट एक्सटेंट, एंड वी कैन से दैट हाउ इंडिया इज ऑल्सो ऑन दिस पाथ नाउ टू फिक्स डेवलपमेंटल गोल्स एंड टू मेक श्योर दैट वी हैव टू अचीव देम. नाउ यू कैन गिव सर्टेन एग्जाम्पल्स टू बैक द स्टेटमेंट कि किस तरह से इंडिया के अंदर हम चेंज विटनेस कर सकते हैं. वी कैन से दैट डीमोनेटाइजेशन वाज अ वेरी बोल्ड मूव, राइट, जो कि पहले नहीं ली गई थी, बट नाउ दिस वाज समथिंग दैट वाज सीन एज बीइंग क्रूशियल, एंड देयरफॉर डिस्पाइट सोसाइटल प्रेशर इट वाज समथिंग दैट वी वेंट अहेड विद. सिमिलरली फाइनेंशियल एंड टैक्सेशन की जो एक रीस्ट्रक्चरिंग हुई इन द फॉर्म ऑफ गुड्स एंड सर्विसेज टैक्स इज अगेन समथिंग that we carried forward, right. इसके अलावा आप कोट कर सकते हैं इवन पोस्ट द सेकेंड वेव, जो आपके मोदी जी की एक जो स्पीच आई विद मन की बात, वेर इन दे टॉक्ड अबाउट कोर्स करेक्शन एंड सेइंग दैट येस नाउ सेंटर जो है प्रोक्योर करेगा वैक्सीन, एंड सेंटर ही जो है इवन फॉर दोज ओवर 18 to 45 का जो एज रेंज है, इंस्टेड ऑफ passing on that responsibility to the states, center will only procure and make sure that free vaccines are available to them. So the state is also open to course correction and taking on such moves to ensure that India's developmental and health goals are achieved. Similarly, हम बात कर सकते हैं या example दे सकते हैं, because you have to understand that this is a government exam. So you have to back that there is certain move even when certain decisions might seem controversial, but you have to understand that you're writing for a government exam ka paper, right? So you can talk about examples, give examples of Balakot strike, wherein we can say not just in domestic policies, but even in foreign policy now India is no longer a soft state, but is emerging as a hard state, right? तो Balakot strikes का आप example दे सकते हो, Article 370 की scraping का आप example दे सकते हो, सार्क के अंदर पाकिस्तान को isolate करने के जो moves हैं उनकी example दे सकते हैं, vaccine diplomacy through vaccine Mitra and our contributions to the Gavi, that can be given as example, and as well as the lockdown decision and ensuring that the lockdown took place. जिस तरह का lockdown first wave के अंदर दिया गया था, right? That was something that was credible, a move that was often lacking in a lot of जिनको हम hard states बोलते हैं, right? तो for example Italy, Spain, etc. were all in the midst of the grips of this pandemic and were crippled by it, whereas in the first wave India was able to handle it much better, even though that crumbled during the second wave. But आप इस तरह के जो examples हैं इनको quote कर सकते हैं, that how these examples in fact show that India is now moving from being a soft state towards being a developmental state, right? And on that positive note you can actually end the आंसर. सो ऑलवेज ट्राई टू कंक्लूड आंसर, स्पेशली जो कि इंडिया के स्टेटस के बारे में बात करते हैं, by giving a more positive, a more hopeful conclusion that yes, we can see transformation in India, that yes, we can see some sort of change in India for the better. ठीक है, सो दिस शुड बी द मॉडल आंसर जिसके ऊपर आप काम कर सकते हैं. ये मॉडल आंसर का जो PDF है आपको हमारे जो वेबसाइट है sleepyclasses.com, उसमें डाउनलोड सेक्शन के अंदर पॉलिटिकल साइंस के अंडर मिल जाएगा. साथ ही में ये जो है हम टेलीग्राम ग्रुप्स पे भी शेयर कर देंगे, एंड डिस्क्रिप्शन के अंदर भी जो है हम शॉर्टली लगा देंगे सो दैट आप इसको ढूंढ सके. तो याद रखिएगा, नेक्स्ट ट्यूसडे ऑनवर्ड्स वी विल बी हैविंग अ लाइव सेशन एट 12:30 एवरी ट्यूसडे, एंड संडे के संडे जो है हम एडिटोरियल डिस्कशन किया करेंगे एट 12 PM. ठीक है, सो कीप दैट इन माइंड. थैंक यू एंड कीप वॉचिंग स्लीपी क्लासेस.